The Uganda we want. So mu Uganda gye twagala mu lutalo luno olw'okulwanyisa obulabbayo obukenuzi nze kyempita obuvundu. Munna Uganda alina okuba nga yeenyigiramu.
Ffenna twenyigire mu lutalo.
Ate abalala tebasomye kuzimba wabula bayize okuzimba.
Uganda gye twagala okulaba ng'enguudo zonna nkole nungi, public transport nga weeri.
Kati eno gavumenti eriwo erina akabonero ka Lucifer. Buli kyotunulako mu Uganda kiriko oxygen. Either babika amawulire malungi oba mawulire mabi. Minisita teyeetagisa kabangali budde buno zaki.
At this time, why should somebody import furniture from outside Uganda? Let us leave NRM to be in charge for another 36 years or more.
I really want to see a Uganda that believes in the rule of law. If you have a constitution in place, follow it to the letter. Don't change laws just because you want them to favor you.
Kuba njagala omanye nti obugagga bwonna Uganda bwe yeeyagaliramu buyita waffe ku ttaka lyaffe. Naye busoga mugidibaze.
How can a referral hospital refer you to a private clinic? The Uganda we want buli muntu ateekwa okumanya nti I am a stakeholder, nkwatibwako si kwesuulirayo gwa naggamba.
Uganda oyinza okukakana nga mwe mulina bagraduates aba university nga bangi okusinga ebungereza. Mwe mufokasinga nnyo ku degree. Eri bo bafokasinga nnyo nti byensomye mbijeemu omulimu n'enkola.
We are dreaming of a Uganda where at a young age there is such a relationship between parent and son, parent and daughter, where the daughter can say this is what I want.
Uganda gye twagala empya tesobola kubeerawo nga tewali mateeka. Amateeka agakola.
The Uganda we want. Welcome to the program, The Uganda We Want, Episode 2 with Mr. Tom Okello. As we told you last time, he is the Executive Director for National Forest Authority. My name is Robert Munanzi. Our viewers on our social media platforms, we are very happy and privileged to have you listening in and watching us today. And of course, the people we host here, like him, a senior citizen of this country. So last time he told us he's about to become a senior citizen, but I think he is a senior citizen. And he's going to air out his views on the kind of Uganda that he would like to see. And we are talking about forestry or the forest sector of this country. If you didn't watch episode 1, please you can visit our social media platforms, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and look out for that program, The Uganda Want, with Mr. Tom Okello, the ED for National Forest Authority.
I'm Tom Okello, the Executive Director of National Forest Authority, and I'm happy and glad to be part of this program of Uganda We Want.
Okay.
Yep.
It's good to have you. Yes. In the last episode, you, of course, you talked about how you were, trying to see that you achieve your vision as the National Forest Authority. I wanted to ask, do you have challenges you're facing or you have faced as NFA, and how have you overcome those challenges?
Yeah, thank you so much, the moderator. The truth is, there is no place in this world without challenges.
That's the word you used when you were welcoming me.
Yes, so just like there is no place without challenges, NFA also has challenges.
Yeah.
And I think that is the reason why we exist, why leaders exist. Leaders exist to try to see how they address the challenges and get solutions to the challenges. Yeah, NFA's I'm going to talk about main challenges. One is the issues of the challenges of resources.
Challenges of resources.
Just like you have heard how people scramble when they are locating the national cake. We also have the same challenge of not getting adequate resources to enable us manage these resources sustainably. By resource, I'm talking of both the human and then the logistics and the technical resources. For example, NFA has about 350 staff only, spread across the country.
Okay.
These are the main staff who are on the government payroll. But also we have the people who are on the wage payroll, about 400. These are patrolmen who are supposed to do day-to-day patrolling of this forest. And because of that, the numbers not being enough, and because of the need for security, we have also managed to borrow some staff from the UPDF and from police. So we have about 200 security personnel also deployed to help us patrol and manage these forest reserves.
Who pays them?
They are paid by their parent ministries, but then we provide them with the logistics for being in the forest reserve, like food. Because in the forest reserve, you may have no food, you have no market. So we have to
So that is uncovered by your
by us, yes.
Okay.
Now, so that is one challenge. And without enough human resource, you cannot effectively patrol, you cannot effectively supervise, you cannot effectively police these resources. And because of that, I talked about in the first episode, I talked about using machines now to monitor the resources. We are modernizing, trying to use drones, trying to use the remote sensing to monitor some of these forests, to try to address the issue of the lack of enough human resource. The other challenge which we have is financial, which is this is known everywhere. But we are also, I'm happy we have managed to get some boost from development partners. As we talk now, we have projects, we have the World Bank investing in forests and protected area, management for climate smart development project, which is trying to bridge that gap, the budgetary gap which we have from what we get from government appropriation. Now, those challenges, those are a bit ordinary, but we have challenges which are coming up. One big challenge we are seeing is the urge, the agitation for the gazettement of forest reserves. We are seeing communities, politicians saying, let us degazette this forest for our people. The population has increased. So
I don't know if you have it in your vocabulary or library or terminology, forest, if I might call it forest grabbing.
No, I'm reaching there also.
Yeah, it's also there.
That was another challenge.
Okay.
So this is where they are doing it in a right way, where they are asking government to degazette and give it to the people.
Can we have this and put up an industry?
And then now you see the current law which we have, this law says before you degazette, you must provide alternative land which is of equivalent or greater ecological value to what you are removing.
So, ED, if I want 20 hectares from Mabira Forest for now, I need to say, okay, I have this land in Gomba. That's, can we use it? Can you give me 20 from Mabira and I give you 20 from Gomba?
Now, you see that the law is saying the land must be of equivalent or greater ecological value. Now, Mabira, in terms of ecology, you may not get any land in Gomba which has equivalent ecological value with Mabira. And then the law is saying you need to do environment and social impact assessment to determine that value.
Oh.
So that law was put there, but it's a bit stringent. For you to get that land is a bit difficult. You may need to look for another Mabira which has that value. But that request is being put forward. But fortunately, we have not yet seen any materializing. So we still have the forest land. The biggest challenge which you are raising is the issue of land grabbing.
Oh, so when they put in the request, they are not given. But what happens is the grabbing now.
In many cases, those ones putting requests are politicians, they are communities, they are law-abiding. They don't enter forcefully. The ones I'm talking about, there is this term in the country now, land grabbing. Land grabbing has become a common term in the country, where somebody goes to Ministry of Lands and creates a title on land which belongs to forest, on land which is a wetland. You create a title in your name. And then you come to Okello here and said, you know what? This is my title. The land is mine. And Okello has been managing this land knowing it is Mabira Central Forest Reserve.
It's for government.
For government. But now somebody is coming with a title saying this land is mine. That is the biggest challenge we are facing now. There are very many. There are too many. Let me first continue. Last 2 years ago, we submitted a list of 420 of such titles to Ministry of Lands for cancellation. Last week, I submitted a list of another 700 of such titles to Ministry of Lands for cancellation. So don't you think there's a problem? Don't you think our forests are not safe?
Are we still at 9%?
No. We have gone up. Incidentally, we have gone up.
We have gone up.
I did not finish explaining the status. We have gone up. We are now around 13. We are about 13%. Now, these are people, by the way, the 700 titles I'm submitting for cancellation, it is not that the people are there. They have the titles, but they're not on the land. I'm the one on the land.
They were securing the land.
But they're waiting for any slight opportunity to attack. So they are putting me on tension. I don't sleep. Because anytime they can come and say, they go to court and say, you know, this is my land, but NFA is disturbing me. Put an injunction on them so that they don't come to disturb me. So we have seen that one happening, and people are grabbing government land. So this is where we are having the biggest challenge.
So according to you, what do we need to do? Because the Uganda we want is the Uganda where our forest land is not grabbed. What should we do?
We need a lot of transparency in land management in this country. The people who are giving these titles, they are known. The authority for issuing titles for land registration is known. The procedure for issuing titles are known. For example, you want a freehold title. Did you involve the area land committee? Did they go and see the land before they signed the forms? Did they even sign the forms, that application form which you applied? Did the neighbors sign? Because if you are taking part of my forest, then I'm remaining as a neighbor in the other part. Did I sign that form? So why don't we be transparent? Why don't we have more integrity? Why don't we be more patriotic and love our country? And before you sign this thing off, you go and check. You ask, why are the neighbors not signing here? Because you are saying the neighbor is a forest reserve managed by NFA. Why haven't NFA put a stamp here? So these are issues which we have been discussing. We are doing a lot of engagement with Ministry of Lands now. Lot of engagements. And some of them are becoming constructive now. But with the still challenges. The land offices are not only in Kampala. Land offices are decentralized. We have the zonal offices. This is where these titles are being created. So we are saying the officials of government who are charged with these responsibilities should help government to manage its natural resources. Why do you put a title in Lake Victoria, for example? Are you aware there are titles in lakes? Yes.
Recently, I think it's in public domain now. We heard of someone who grabbed the railway land, and when they asked for the title, saying they were burnt. I don't have them. But it says he's the owner of the place.
So these are so now Ugandans, some of them, not all, are becoming professional land grabbers.
And use the word professional land grabbers.
And they're becoming immune to satisfaction of land with the land. If it was food, I don't know how big the stomachs would be. Because you have this, you want that one, you want the other one. Why?
What do you think led to that? What do you think leads to lack of transparency amongst Ugandans?
To me, it is greed. Greed and corruption. Because we want to fulfill the unsatiable greed and which we... Because really, why? These are for future generation. Assuming our fathers had done it, our grandfathers, would we be having Mabira? So, unless me and you change our mindset, become more patriotic, and love the country, the future generation is going to judge us very harshly. They may cane our graves because they say these are the people who finish the forest. That's why we are suffering. Because look, we have these resources. Other people are crying to come here, to come and see these resources. They are paying money, a lot of it in the airlines, to come and see Mabira and sleep there. There's a lodge there. To sleep listening to birds singing. Birds don't cry, they sing. Birds singing different songs, melodies from different species. That's what they want. And they're recording to go and play to their grandchildren at home and said, you here, I was in Uganda.
Yeah. And this is Mabira Forest,
yes.
The biggest.
They are going to see our national parks. They are going to see the Makshun Falls and the rest. So, my take is, let us love our country. And let us get satisfied with the little we have and stop this greed, which is making us lose our natural resources. So to me, my biggest challenge now is that land grabbing. The other challenge which we are facing as a country in forestry, we're having a lot of population increase. Uganda, is one of the most fertile countries in the world.
I thought we should be happy about that.
Yeah, you see, you are happy. You may fail to feed your children in future because the more forests we destroy, we are affecting the water system, the water cycle, and then you may not have good rainfall, and yet we are still relying on rain-fed agriculture, so we may fail to put food on the table for that population, and a disaster will come. So, because of that, many of the forest is being removed from the private land I've already talked about. And what is the implication? The implication is that we need the natural resource with the forest resources. So when you finish from point A, there's a likelihood you are coming to me to look for firewood, to look for poles for construction, to look for timber for construction. And remember, with the increased population, there's increased demand for all these resources I've talked about.
Yeah.
So that is a challenge also.
Yeah, it is a challenge. Okay, because I've heard, we recently had a Chogam meeting in Rwanda. We've been having many meetings and international conferences. They all talk about climate change. Does it have any connection with forestry?
Now, this animal called climate change, I think we still need a lot to do. And that was one of the challenges I wanted to finish with.
Okay.
The issue of awareness. Even on forests and the importance of forests. To me, many people are not aware. Because how do you go with your power source, with your machines, and you bulldoze a whole forest? Now, let me give you one very good example. If you remove a forest which is a water catchment, where, for example, a spring water is coming from, where a river is starting, I can assure you with time the river will disappear. That spring water will also disappear. So that one is showing you the importance of forest. Now, climate change, what is causing it? Climate change is being caused by increasing the amount of what they're calling greenhouse gases in the atmosphere. Now, the greenhouse gases, the biggest is carbon dioxide, which you breathe out, which the trees take to eat, to manufacture their food. I'm breathing out my carbon dioxide, the tree is picking it from me. But the tree is giving me oxygen in exchange of what it is taking. Now, carbon dioxide, I've told you, is the biggest greenhouse gas. Now, the moment you remove the trees, there are 2-3 things you are doing. One, you are reducing the ability to take carbon dioxide because it is the one taking from the atmosphere. 2, when you burn that tree, you are releasing the carbon dioxide, which it had picked and stored in forms of carbon to the atmosphere. So you are increasing the greenhouse gas in the atmosphere. So what is the greenhouse gas causing? It is destroying some layers up there and therefore leading to global warming. So from what I've explained, you now see the importance of forest.
And the need to
The
preserve.
more forests you have, that therefore means you are removing more carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and therefore reducing the greenhouse gas and therefore reducing the factors causing the temperature to increase. And therefore you are mitigating climate change. 1. 2, the more forests you have, you are also aware forest is one of the factors causing rainfall. So you may have more rain. And I think that is why if you pass Mapira, you leave Kampala sweating. The moment you enter Mapira, you open your windows, you remove the AC, you're not going to sweat. Place is naturally cool. In most cases, it rains there almost every week. Even when other areas are dry, the trees are manufacturing
The rain.
rain. The trees are a source of rivers. So, planting forest is one of the ways to mitigate the impact of climate change.
yeah. So-
Keeping the forest is another way of mitigating the climate change. If you hear about REDD+, reducing emissions from deforestation and forest degradation, that is it. That climate change is rotating around that. Reducing emission from deforestation and forest degradation, plus others anyway. Improving forest management, making people aware. Those are the others now. But the REDD itself is reducing emission from deforestation and forest degradation.
Okay, apart from keeping, you talked about keeping and also planting and protecting, what else can Ugandans do to maintain the forest resource that is desired to make Uganda a green economy, as Churchill described us?
Now, to me, one thing which we can do on top of that, we need to change our mindset.
I've heard leaders like you say mindset. When you say, what do you mean?
You see, we should stop being, I told you about greedy, corrupt, but I'm now adding, stop being careless with the way we do our things. For example, many Ugandans, when they are going to the garden, when they are going to work in the garden, especially the people doing agriculture, they carry machetes, they carry pangas. It is very common to find a Ugandan walking in a forest area going to his garden, but when he's walking, he's busy hammering his panga on a tree as he walks. And I don't know whether you have seen it. The man is busy, just pa, and then he makes noise. Hey, then he continues. Then he hammers and that. By the way,
This sounds nice. No.
yeah. Now, assuming that panga is being put on you, because this tree is a living thing like you, assuming they're busy hammering you as somebody walks. So that's the mindset. Why don't we stop that? You see, you're injuring this tree. It is going to start bleeding even when you are seeing that water coming, that is the tree bleeding.
And someone sees one that is, coming up.
Yes.
Let me cut this.
You see? So those are the stop being careless. Whatever we are doing, we must stop being careless sincerely. And then I think when we plant our trees, we need to look after them. We have had programs of government, programs of non-governmental organizations, program of community-based organizations, giving people seedlings to plant. You find people gathered under a tree receiving seedlings. They will take it, first of all, put at the veranda, and the person goes to drink. By the time he comes back, the goats have eaten all the seedlings. So we have lost that one. Even some go as far as planting. But when they plant, they don't look after it. A tree is like your child. It is like beans. It is a crop. When you plant your beans, don't you weed it? Don't you go and chase goats from it? Why do you plant the trees and you don't subject it to that treatment, to that care? It is also a crop. By the way, we call it a crop. So that is one area. People are planting trees, but they're not looking after them. Now,
It doesn't have to be for formality.
Yeah.
Let me just plant it.
and then we need to avoid wastage. We are doing a lot of wastage. Can I tell you one thing? Do you know when you burn charcoal? From 10 kilograms of trees, of log, let me make it a simple 10 kilogram of log, which you cut and heap to burn charcoal. You're only getting 1 kilogram. 9 kilograms is going into the atmosphere as carbon dioxide, which is going to cause greenhouse gas, which is joining the what we have in the atmosphere. It is dust in form of ash, which is still also going in the atmosphere and may be polluting. That is what we are doing. Then you are cutting trees for burning charcoal. You are leaving all the branches there. Or you are cutting timber, the branches are all there. That is wastage. So we need also to improve on our technology of doing some of these things. By the way, with the increased population, we need to think about how will we use little of what is available so that we don't finish it. Sustainability. If the charcoal we're only getting 1%, there are technologies, there are improved charcoal making technologies where you can get up to 40%. Why don't we go for that? And then probably some few people specialize in doing charcoal and selling to the people so that we cut less trees to produce more charcoal. At home, how are you cooking? You put your fire in the middle of the compound of your courtyard. Put fire there, the wind is blowing, you are cooking the air. You're not cooking the food you are put on the 3 stones.
Why you think you are cooking food?
You are cooking the air. The wind is blowing the fire somewhere. You are cooking the air. So your food here, instead of taking 30 minutes, will take 2 hours. So how much firewood have you wasted? You have wasted firewood for 1.5 hours cooking air. In fact, again, you are making the atmosphere hot because you are releasing heat in the atmosphere. So mindset change, changing the way we are doing our things, being more organized, listening to what people are saying. And we should avoid being defiant. You know, somebody introduced defiance in this country, and it is really affecting this country. Because now even somebody just stands up and says, I'm not doing it. They are wasting my time. Defiance is not going to help us. Let us listen to the leaders.
Yeah, and those who like the category you talked about, those who are privately owning something.
Yes.
This is my forest.
Yes.
Not
it is your forest. Listen, I'm helping you to sustainably manage it. By the way, you can have so many things on that forest. You can even do tourism, and you get free money. People who are passing by will just give you money to enter the forest and relax.
I think if Ugandans remember very well of the statistics about tourism before COVID.
Yes.
You know,
we were in a boom. We are in a tourism boom.
Yeah.
But it is coming back. So let us not cut our forest that COVID has spoiled tourism. Tourism is coming back, and it is still going to rule this country. People are coming to our country. The country, we have given people the environment for tourism. You know, environment for tourism. Number 1 is peace and security. Number 1. If it is not during Amin's time, are you aware there was no tourists in Uganda?
You need to tell me because you are there.
It was not there. It was zero. You know, in 1972, closed Makshon Falls National Park. And he was going there alone. He was enjoying it alone.
He closed it for the rest?
For the rest of the tourists. The foreign tourists. They closed them. Said, you are not coming to our park. But I think his reason was different. Yeah. But he closed it. So in other words, he was not bothered of tourists. He was not bothered of the free money from tourism. So I think you summarize.
Mindset change. Okay. So away from your usual duties of forestry, would you describe to us the Uganda you want to see and leave for the next generation? Just before you sign up on our next.
Now, I want a Uganda which is peaceful, which is green.
A Uganda
which is peaceful, which is green, which has a clean and healthy environment. That is number 1. But with the people of Uganda who love each other, the people who care for each other, the people who mind about their neighbors, the people who mind about their country, the people who mind about what they're doing and what they're saying. For example, why should I throw a mineral water bottle out of a vehicle when I'm driving? When you are following in our highways, follow a bus which has just stopped in a center where they're selling muchomo, bananas, and what. You follow that bus. They can even break your windscreen. People will be throwing sticks for muchomo, maize cobs, banana peels on you. Why? Why can't we change that? What is the problem? Do we mind about what we are doing? Do we mind about other road users? So I think we need that type of Uganda where people mind about their neighbor. You are driving. Are you minding about that old woman crossing the road? Do you think about her? What about these school children who have stood at the roadside for 30 minutes waiting to cross? Can't you stop the man coming from the other side? And you also stop and block the people behind you. And then they cross. And the borders, can they wait for these children to cross?
Oh, talk about the
you see,
borders.
For them, you have stopped. You want the school children to cross. For them, they're just passing. Why don't we mind about traffic lights in this country? When it is red, why do we cross? So that's the type of Uganda.
And actually, many of course Ugandans ask, we want more traffic lights, but even the few that we have, we don't, observe what they are telling.
But do we know what it is telling us? So those are the things which.
Now I want you to help us understand now. The know. Do we know? You asked a very good question. Do we know? How can we know? Who has the mandate actually to teach us to know?
You see, people have taught us. Do you know that all the resident district commissioners in this country have 1 hour on all those FM radio stations, which are everywhere, every week, to teach Ugandans? And they are doing.
Are they?
They are teaching Ugandans.
Some.
All of them. They have even given me airtime myself to go and teach Ugandans on forestry issues. My public relations staff, I think in the last 3 months, I don't know which district they have not been to, teaching Ugandans. The problem, what I see as a problem, probably is the timing. What time are Ugandans there to listen to these radio talk shows, to these television presentations, like the one the one I'm doing now? How many people are see? How many viewers are there? You see? That is another challenge, because the thing probably comes at a time when the people are in the gardens digging. They don't carry TVs to the garden. They don't carry radios to the garden. So what we need to start thinking, what is the best time? What is the best method of delivering these messages? Somebody was telling me yesterday, an MP from one of the districts in Western Uganda, that in his district, you cannot sensitize people before 2 p.m. because they're in the gardens working. You'll not get anybody.
After 2?
Yes. In other districts, I've seen also, you cannot sensitize people after 2 because they are not sober. They are not sober. So when you go to so these are the dilemma which we leaders have. We people who do sensitization, we have that dilemma. So we need to balance. But it is a very critical balance. It is very difficult. Now, how do you balance now in that district? In the morning, they're in the garden. In the afternoon, they're drunk. Now, what are you going to sensitize? What time do you sensitize them? At night, they're sleeping.
The physical approach.
You follow them in the garden, probably. Or where they're drinking from. But again, you should catch them when they're not yet very drunk, because they can.
Are you satisfied that the government has done enough really to make people know of what
I think possibly not enough, because you see the resources. I've talked about resources. For example,
is it because of the resources?
That is one, and manpower also.
Manpower.
For example, recently, government was recruiting parish chiefs for this to implement the parish development model. Ideally, you would imagine we had all the parish chiefs because it is in the structure, but we didn't have all of them. So the manpower also may not be enough. But I think also you people of the press, you also need to, the media houses, you need to probably also help us, because your rates are also very high at times.
It is due to, of course, to UCC.
Yeah, your rates are very high, so it also discourages us to use the media houses to sensitize the people.
Well, I think that has to be a discussion, but as far as I know, even to operate like the way to manage NFA, if you compare it to the way to manage a television station, like now, from the person who brings this picture that people are watching right now to the time that, you know, I watch you speaking and everything, it also costs a lot.
Okay.
And I think I heard from one of the media body talking about this, having discussions with the UCs and the government, so that they can as well levy on the taxes, you know, that are being levied on the media houses. Probably even that can work out.
Yeah.
But as you're saying, the media has to do its job.
Yeah.
You as well.
Yeah.
Many people have been complaining about your availability as leaders. You know, are you available to speak to the masses?
I'm here
Your
available.
offices.
You are here.
For you,
I'm here, but yeah, that
about
is,
in the general sense,
but I've seen.
some leaders are not there.
people are
look
there.
for them in the offices and they are not there.
I think that we need to improve. If that is not happening, then we need to improve.
That has to be.
That is true. Yeah.
Is there any other Uganda you want to see? Or you want to say?
No. I think
You just want a
we
peaceful, green.
need responsible people who love their country and who think about the future of their country. Let us not be greedy with our children. Because you see, I've been a teacher teaching farmers on forestry and conservation. I normally tell them, when I tell them, go and...
teacher who never striked?
No.
Because we have teachers who
No,
strike.
for me, I never. So I was saying, if I tell you to go and plant a tree, don't ask me how many years will it take. Because that you are being greedy with your children and you are jealous with them. Go and plant. Because probably what you are enjoying now was planted by your grandfather, or was planted by your father,
and preserved.
and looked after. So you also don't ask me how long will it take. Just go and plant and look after it. It will help your grandchildren.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
As a Ugandan, how are you going to respond to ensure that you as well achieve the kind of Uganda that you would love to see?